Welcome to Trailblazers Rising, where we share strategies and stories for scaling beyond limits. Today, I am so excited to fangirl out and meet face to face with Chloe, the right Chloe, who I have been funneling on social media. Oh, I know now. I don't understand time, so I won't even try and pretend like I do. So don't let me butcher any more of it, Chloe. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah. So our friend Chloe from down under, I will attempt to not mimic your accent, but as a neurodivergent person, that is something that is very hard for me to not do. So without further ado, we're going to dive right in, and I'm going to ask you, what sparked your entrepreneurial thought?
So it's really a long history of not liking being told what to do, and there's a massive stubborn streak in my body that is like the fastest way to get me to do something is to tell me that I'm not allowed to do it or that I can't do it. And so working in jobs, to be honest, I don't know how I lasted as long as I did in corporate environments because I would job hop basically my entire life because I would get into a job, be really good at it, really, really quick, and then in a year I'd be bored. And it took me so long to figure out. I know it seems so obvious now. But it just I was constantly looking for something that would keep me engaged long term, some kind of challenge, something entertaining. And I realized that I just needed to go and work for myself because I would get so disillusioned with all of the corporate bureaucracy. Like I hated having to set goals in these environments and go through these meetings that just didn't make sense to me. And I just felt like the whole environment and the setup was structured in a way that I could succeed. So I left. I had to. It was just sanity.
I love that. That's so exciting. So how long have you been running the show on your own?
Oh, well, I have been doing things for myself for like 13 years now, but I did not go into my business full on until like 2 years ago. And I
Yeah.
just no, I can't believe that it just took me so long because I was unemployed for a while after I had my son and I was a stay-at-home mum and I felt so incapable after having him that I'd been out of the workforce for so long that I genuinely had zero confidence in my own abilities anymore. And I felt like my brain had turned to mush. And so I went and got a job again because that was like what I knew. And it was good for building up my confidence quickly again. But then I got bored and I realized that no, I need to get out. And yeah, so that became my new mission was to get really good at the thing that I wanted to do and like to carry on from there with my own business.
I love that. So that is actually something that has been a theme that my mentors have been shouting for a long time. And that I've just started really taking note of really in these past couple days where we go wrong a lot of the time. And I don't know if this is true for everyone, not just neurodivergent human beings, but I speak from a neurodivergent AFAB human perspective. So instead of working on what we're not good at and trying to get better at what we're not naturally good at, stop doing that and go become an expert in what you are naturally good at.
Yeah.
Like
You can
that is
spend a
the difference
really
between
long
my
sorry.
no, it's okay.
I
There's a
think
little
you're
bit of a
breathing a
delay.
little bit. Yeah. I was just gonna
Yeah.
say you can spend a really long time trying to fit yourself into a little box or to try and make yourself do something that just isn't natural for you. And you spend a really long time wondering what the hell's wrong with you, why you don't get it the same way that everyone else seems to. Or you could just go and do the thing that comes naturally to you and like lean into that as much as I hate that expression. Yeah. Just
Lean
go with
in.
it.
No, I love it. It's when it's used appropriately, it's a very good expression. So tell me, were you always good at writing?
Yes. Yeah, I was always, that just was something that kind of came naturally to me. I was always the kid who was reading. When I was a kid, I would carry around like 3 or 4 books with me because I would always finish whatever book I was carrying around. So I learned very that if I wanted to not be bored out of my mind, I had to have backups. So I was the kid with my nose buried in a book. I was like the library assistant in my primary school. I read all of the books in the library. It was just, yeah, reading and writing were like the thing that I found easiest. I'm surprised that when I went into uni, I actually studied management of IT and went into like a corporate consulting role with like a big four advisory company. And it was unsurprising, not for me. And then I went into a marketing role with a university and absolutely loved it because I was getting to write and do creative stuff. And it just kind of spiraled from there. And I ended up starting a blog and going traveling. And it, yeah, just took off.
That's fantastic. We love that. So when it comes to marketing, which is a huge, gigantic beast in and of itself and described, there's so many different offshoots of it, right? So there's social media marketing, which you have such a fun, unique approach to. And I love seeing all of your content come across my FYP or my feed, whatever social media platform I'm on. And I follow you on all of the ones that I'm active on. I think are mutual. Anyways, be cool. When it comes to copywriting, I will say I had the biggest misunderstanding of it, and it took a while for it to make sense to me. And it's the number one thing that trips up, I would say, the members of the Neurospicy Academy and all of my clients. Whenever I say, what kind of copy do you write? Do you have any tools for copywriting and that sort of stuff? They're like, do you mean my trademarks? I'm like, "Ugh." So what would you say has helped you the most with copywriting and explaining it to people? Because I know you have such a fantastic way of breaking things down for people to understand.
Yeah, it's for me, I always explain it as writing the words that help people sell stuff. It's like that. It really is as simple as that because it could be social media, it can be emails, it can be websites. It doesn't necessarily have to be this one specific type of, form. It can be a lot of different things. And that's why I think can be a bit confusing for people because if you get into the copywriting world, there's this whole like debate between is it content or is it copy? And like really nobody outside of copywriting cares about that. It
Yeah.
that's like an internal industry debate and it needs to stay there. The thing that matters is that people hire copywriters to help them sell their stuff. And
Yeah,
that's what we do.
absolutely. When it comes to content, the first and foremost thing that all business owners would benefit from understanding when it comes to social media content is your social media content, you would benefit the most if it speaks to your actual, what you're selling, right? So like I mentioned my self-care planner and my energy optimization planner just about in every single blurb that I write on all of my social media content, right? Because that's how people are really going to get to know me and get on my email list so I can really start developing relationships with them, right? So when it comes to creating social media as a copywriter, what do you really lean into when it comes to making social media content? Because I'm sure your email is beautiful.
So I'm the thing that I like to focus on most is because I do primarily top of funnel content, which is like the attraction side of things. So I help get people into your funnel by being super visible online. So things that I like to focus on are things like your hooks and keeping people's attention and like opening sort of those like curiosity loops where people want to keep watching so that they find out what happens. And that's like something that I've been experimenting a lot more with my trend explaining content. Like I kind of stumbled across that one by accident, but it's been a massive source of followers for me. Just helping people understand the internet and social media and how it works and why things blow up the way that they do. Because social media is just so crazy for that. And I think a lot of business owners don't know how to leverage that type of content for themselves. Yeah, just it's something that makes sense to me, but I like to experiment with, my opening lines, things like your call to actions, really like mixing up the middle of your videos to make sure that people keep watching throughout. And it's just really I love it. It's so
That's fantastic. I love that. Now, you've been in the game for a long time. What are your suggestions for the people listening, my entrepreneurs, new and seasoned, and everything in between, for the imposter syndrome that shows up for some of us daily, weekly, monthly, hourly? Do you have any tools in your wheelhouse to shut up that voice in your brain that says you suck and you don't know what you're doing?
Yeah. Literally everyone gets imposter syndrome. You can't opt out of it. And if you're thinking that you're going to reach a level of success where imposter syndrome will not be a thing, you're going to be really disappointed because you're more likely to have imposter syndrome as you get more successful because
Yeah.
nobody feels like they know what they're doing, what they completely have their shit together. It's nobody's immune. It's just the difference between the people who are super successful and the people who are still starting out are that the super successful people understand and know it to be an unavoidable part of business, and they just acknowledge it as something that everyone experiences and then move on. You have to just go, okay, I know this is going to happen, but maybe that the day that I'm experiencing this bone crushing feeling of, you really suck at this. Why is anybody going to want to buy anything from you? Because you don't know what you're talking about. You're a giant fraud and it's only a matter of time. You just got to
Absolutely.
put your phone away and walk away for a little bit and go and do something else because you like the longer that you spend trying to scroll your way out of that feeling, the worse you're going to feel.
Absolutely. Compare is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
And you are allowed to compare yourself in order to get better, but you have to compare yourself to the older version of
Yes.
you. You can't compare yourself to anybody else online because we all know that what you see on social media is the highlight reels of everyone's life, everyone's business. You're not seeing any of the stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, social media is engineered in such a way that we feel like we are, I spoke about this recently. We feel like we know people and we feel like we are get a decent idea of the person that they are through their profile. But really, we aren't. We're getting teeny little snapshots that they are highly curating to give us the impression that they want us to have. And, some people the lows, but a lot of people don't because they're just not
Yeah.
comfortable doing that. So, you know, it doesn't help them sell. Or at least they don't think it helps them sell if they're showing that, I had a really shitty day today. So you're not going to see it.
Yeah. I've seen your content before. You do a very good job describing of why somebody does not want to go viral and why you think you do, but you don't actually. And I've recently had my first like over 1 million viral vid, and the terminology is being butchered that I use. And there's, a certain portion of people in the neurodivergent community that are very upset with it. And I now understand. And when I tell you, I literally had no scripting in my head, no preparation in my head. I'd never played out this scenario of hurting a group of people and having people really twist and turn your words around to the point where like it's affected my day, my life, like all that sort of stuff, right? Like it's something that I can't turn off in my brain. So what is your, I mean, I'm getting over it. I'm fine. I'm working through it. I understand some people are going to be committed to misunderstanding you, and that's fine. Everybody has allowed their opinion. I'm bing, bang, boom, live your life. What is your recommendation for business owners that you work with when it comes to, what's the word I'm looking for? Managing their expectations. Like, what are the reasons that a business owner should be making social media content and making email content and that sort of stuff?
I think it depends on what you want to do with your business. Like, what is your goal ultimately? Like, there are so many people who make content without really thinking about what they're trying to do with it. And I've done that. I mean, you go through stages where you're perhaps not really clear on your goals and where you're going. So you just kind of make content because that's what you do. And
Yeah.
you have to be careful when you're participating in trends or really trying to leverage known viral tactic if you don't know what you're doing because you may be preparing yourself for a shitstorm that you are not adequately dressed for.
Yeah.
If you can't hold your own and there's a certain level of resilience that you do need in order to put the content out there and steer the course once it's gone viral, because there will be people who will completely try and character assassinate you. They will rope their friends into doing it with them. And you are just their angry outlet for the day. And
Yeah.
that is what you need to remember. These are never happy people who are content with their lives. They're sad, they're, dissatisfied, and you are their shit person for the day. And it sucks, but that is the nature of the internet. We were all stuck inside for over a year, and some people just were not able to cope with that as well as we would have, I guess, liked to. The pandemic was tough,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who really just want to be mad at someone, and sometimes you
Yeah.
are that person for the day.
Absolutely. So when it comes to entrepreneurship, we know that people don't warn you about how lonely it can be, right? And I didn't even realize how lonely it could be until I started the Neurospicy Academy with my friend and business partner, Christina, at the end of last year, where now we have this virtual campus that we're on all day, not all day, they're on every single day. And it's like Minecraft and Zoom put together. So we're having a good time. We can see each and every person that's on there and hanging out with us, whether we're in the library or the cafeteria, whatever space we're in. And like just to have people to bounce ideas off of and to like joke around with and say, how did you sleep? What did you do? La 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 la. How's the husband? And again, now that I'm realizing I used to just wake up, go live, get ready, do my face with my friends on TikTok, and then sit here at my computer and like knock out or attempt to knock out all the things on my to-do list alone on the computer. So when it comes to entrepreneurship, we know how important relationships are. What advice can you give about building relationships best, with other people in your industry, with potential mentors, with clients? Is there anything that you found to be really, really helpful that maybe nobody ever warned you about or told you, hey, this is a good idea?
I think for me, the idea of networking can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
I don't like being too under pressure in really social environments. Um, but one thing that I do enjoy is having a few select close friends who are like my support group. They don't necessarily all know each other, but they are people who, if they're having a problem, they know they can DM me. And, it's always exciting. It's always a special moment when you open up your DMs and you've got like 5 voice messages from one person and you're about to hear some tea, and it's just great. And because no one gets it like the people who are, doing this in their own businesses as well. And so, I have a few people that I'm close with now. Some of them are copywriters as well. Some of them are former clients of mine. But these are people who they get it, they've been through it. They're out there creating content. They get burnt out. Like you've got to have that network, even if it doesn't look like the traditional massive Slack group where everyone's talking all day. You just got to have your people.
Absolutely. I really couldn't agree more. And then when it comes to pressure and stress, running your own business or businesses, I mean, there's such a mind shift that has to happen when you go from being an employee to being the CEO, right? How do you manage the pressure and the stress? I am a huge proponent of self-care. And when I say self-care, I'm not talking about a weekly massage or a day at the spa. I am talking about every decision that I make is based on how it's going to affect me, good or bad. And if it's a bad thing, I'm going to do everything in my wheelhouse and my capabilities to not do that. So what does self-care look like to you? How do you handle that pressure?
So I handled it really, really poorly in my first year of like full-time freelancing. I said yes to everything. I completely burnt myself out and ended up like having panic attacks, wasn't sleeping for days at a time. So I'd highly not recommend doing the say yes to everything thing. But I've really in the last 6 months started prioritizing and listening to the gut feeling that I have when something comes up, when there's an opportunity or something, like I get an inquiry. If there's a part of me that goes, I don't know if I really want to do this, that is a sign that I should not be doing it. And, there is a realistic part of it that's like, okay, so you've got to do things to keep the money coming in. But when there's a very clear sign from your gut that is saying you don't really want to be doing this, that is a symptom that there is something in your business that needs to be addressed. So I'm doing all of that stuff now. and changing the way that I do my business and turning it more into a content creation business rather than a like done for you service provider model, because I just realized that actually wasn't serving me super well. And so I'm changing.
I love that. I've toyed around back and forth with done for you services and adding them to, my offers because I do love content creation. And with all of my one-on-one clients that work in a 3 or 6 month capacity with me, content creation or like social media strategy comes up in every single call. Because there's a way to get your brain thinking in terms of content creation. So when you're going about your everyday life, like I'm a big believer in going for a WALK regularly, daily. If you to really, I can't say it because the four-leggeds are around and they'll get too excited. I can't. I even got really excited earlier when somebody hopped on at the Neurospicy Academy and I heard him in my headphones, but I wasn't at my computer. And I was like, and they like flipped their shit because they thought somebody was on. I was like, no, stop, boys. It's too smart. I can't deal with this. So when it comes to content creation strategy and helping people create fantastic content for their own brand, it's like, do you ever feel that moment of like, why don't I get this many great ideas for my own business?
Oh, all the time. My gosh, there's always things that I like. I get ideas for people, and if I was you, I would so be doing this. And you really want to help them because you just get these constant little like sparks, and you want to run with it, and you want to be helpful because you can help. But the question isn't whether you can. The question is whether you should. And
Yeah.
a lot of the time, for me, I don't have the energy to do all of it. So I overcommit and, end up burning myself out. So I need to say, no, okay, I can't do that before I offer it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you get me really excited. Does that mean you're going to be a coach?
I'm headed that way. Yeah, I'd like to be able to expand my reach a little bit, and
Yeah.
because doing the done for you service providing thing is really good, but you're very capped at how much you can actually, because
Yeah.
it's one-on-one work. And
Yeah.
I know that I am really good at at doing a lot of things in a small business capacity, like as a solopreneur. I'm really scrappy, and we all go through that first year, and I'd love to be able to help more people with that because I see so many small business owners struggling to create great content for themselves. And I found that so enjoyable, and I'd love to be able to help people do it and to experience the success that I was able to achieve through getting good at content.
There's two kinds of business owners and entrepreneurs in this world. The ones that love making content and the ones that are waiting until they can pay somebody else to do it or pay
Straight
somebody
up.
else to do it.
So true.
It just, for me, right, lifestyle has been the most important thing to monitor and track and change and transition into as a neurodivergent entrepreneur because my energy fluctuates so much and it is but it's still unpredictable at times. And so really breaking down those tasks every day that are on my to-do list between the mega tasks, which is like the stuff that is not fun, and then the magical task, which is the stuff that is fun, I do with all the members of the Neurospicy Academy and in my Time Hackers Workshop, and of course my clients. And to me, it's so interesting when people put content creation in the muggle column and not the magical column.
Yeah. I agree. I think you're either somebody who loves making the content and it comes naturally, but I think even if you're a person who doesn't enjoy creating content, maybe you just haven't found the content for you. Because I feel like there is a type of that is like resonates with everyone. There's something for everyone in content creation, and for me, I think it's just a question of finding which one fits you best.
Absolutely. I really couldn't agree more. I'm so excited that, listen, if you need my take, which I know you don't, you're going to be the most fantastic coach. And I've seen it in you all along ever since the first time you popped up on my FYP as September it was. And I went, oh, okay, yeah, yeah. My spirit guides are real loud about you. My spirit guides are very loud about certain people. And they tell me that when I see somebody's content for the first time and I go, oh, this is interesting. Let me go check them out. Like them, you're going to work with them. And I'm like, okay, how, when, why, in what capacity? I don't get anything more than them. Obviously, free will. God damn it. I'm really excited to watch your transition and you really embody the coach that you naturally are. Because when I tell you, everybody listen, when I tell you this woman can break and concepts and all sorts of stuff so that any person can understand it without being condescending. I've seen a lot of condescending people on social media lately, and you're really incredible at it. Is that how you are with your kids and your friends? Like, and have you always been able to break things down?
I think it's something I've had to practice. It doesn't necessarily, I think in some ways, maybe, but when I think about how I explain things to other people, really, I get excited about things and I want to share that excitement with people. And in order to get them excited as well, they need to be at the same level of knowledge that I am about it so that they can see the possibilities and see where it could go. And so you kind of have to figure out how to explain that in a way that's going to like get them to why it's so great. And that's what I love about it. I love social media trends. They're so fascinating to me. And just some of them are so meta and they go back literally decades. And you don't even know. If you don't like, I'm chronically online, but not in the way that I've never had any life experience outside of the internet. I just spend too much time on TikTok and I really love it. But once you start dipping a toe into meme history, like you can go down rabbit hole. So interesting. I love it.
Listen, I have teenage sons and I speak and text. Well, I text in GIF or GIFs, whatever it is we're supposed to call it. And, my sons, they are 13 and almost, Mom, nobody sends a GIF. Like, I was like, what about a meme? And they're like, the memes are okay. I'm like, yes, it's just a moving meme. Let me have this, please. And thank you. But I'm sure you're this way too, that sending people TikTok is a love language.
It totally is. It totally. If I send you TikToks, it's because I think you're wonderful. Like that. That's just because I really do. Except for my best friend, I don't send TikToks to people who are already on TikTok. I send them to the people who I know refuse to download the platform because I'm like, you're gonna be seeing this on Instagram in like 2 months, but I need you to see it now.
Yep, absolutely. That's so interesting that you say that because I'm finding now I don't use Facebook for my business. Obviously, I have a Facebook for my business because I have an Instagram and those two have to be hooked up. But people are reaching out to me and saying, hey, I saw your video on Facebook and it had, or on Twitter. Somebody reposted my thing on Twitter and had 200,000. I don't know if it's a view or I don't know what it's called over there on Twitter. But the fluidity of really good content and people reposting it on social media channels. What do you think it is that makes a piece of content that good and that shareable and not controversial and sparking hatred from portions of the internet?
Yeah, you got to be. It's got to be the relatability factor. When you get people seeing themselves in your content and being able to go, "Hey, that's me," um, that's when you start to get people sharing it because it's like a little bit of clout every time they find a person who's like them, but who they simultaneously admire and aspire to be more like. It's kind of marketing yourself indirect and curating this persona of yourself. You have to factor in the type of content that you share as well as the type of content that you create. Because if you want to be a certain way, if you want to be seen a certain way by your audience, whether your audience is your business crowd or, just the people who follow you because they're your friends and family and all that, there's your personality that is, a component of it is what you're sharing as well as what you're creating. Social media is not just about creation, it's about curation. And you are what you curate as well as what you create.
Absolutely. So I'm going to share with you an example so that you know exactly where I'm taking this. One of the most powerful reframes for effective copywriting that I have learned is to use the word you, not on everything, right? So if you want to create content that is inspired by your life, right? Because I include shit that goes down in my life in my content because it's, who my ideal clients are go through similar things that I do. So I know they're going to relate and identify with that sort of stuff. But instead of saying, when I got into hot water on social media and my words got moved around, well, you just say, when you, and then that way, when somebody's reading it, they're like, oh my God, this person was talking about me. How did they know? So give us a tip or two to really improve the impact of our copy and our content, if you would be so kind.
Mm, I guess to improve the impact of your content is to think about how you're appearing. First off, it's not even about your copy. This is about your energy. If you show up and you're like, there's something in that that's gonna make people instantly swipe. But if there's movement, if there's color, if there's light, if there's, a smiling face, something that looks joyful, um, people are going to be so much more drawn to that. They're going to be you have a portion of a second to be able to get somebody to stop their scroll.
Yeah.
And that energy that you bring in that first frame. And this is where editing comes into it. You can edit to make sure that you're like showing up with that first keyframe. That is one of the things that I would recommend you actually put some time and attention into. I don't always get it right. Sometimes I screw this up massively. But in a perfect world,
Yeah.
you would do this amazingly every single time. But the impact, I think, as well, is don't sacrifice your own personality for the sake of wanting to come across a certain way. You are
Yeah.
good enough as the person that you are, because if you're copying somebody else's vibe, their words, their content, their, communication style, you're going to come unstuck because that's unsustainable for you. It will unravel eventually. And then people will be confused because they're like, well, this doesn't sound like you, but they never knew you to begin with. And also, there's already that person out there doing that in their way. And there are plenty of people who aren't going to like them and aren't going to resonate with them and aren't going to want to learn from them. They may want to learn from you instead because they like your personality.
Yeah.
There's some people who just can't stand swearing on social media. And I say fuck every 2 seconds. So it's like, I am clearly not for the people who don't like swearing. So
Yeah. I love that. Oh my God, I love that. I'm so glad I've been able to talk to you. All right. So before we get into the lightning round of neurodivergent, a special question, please plug your thought and tell everyone listening how they can find out more about you, how they can work with you. Give us all the beat.
Okay, so I am super focusing on my YouTube channel at the moment. There's not a lot there at the moment, but please don't do me on YouTube. It's The Right Chloe, WRITECHLO. And that's my handle on everything. I'm mostly active on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube now. So come and give me a follow. I'm going to be teaching people stuff for free, and I've got a newsletter. You can subscribe through all the usual links in bio, all that kind of jazz. And yeah, so if you're a small business owner, a solopreneur, or a creator, I'm going to be helping you this year.
I'm so excited for that. Yay. And of course, everything will be linked to the video. Oh, I took it. Let me see if I can remember the questions. Do you see me?
I could see you now.
Okay. First and foremost, what is your favorite social media platform?
TikTok.
Yeah. Have you had any water?
It's here. It's here. But I've had a little bit. This is
Okay.
what I've managed to drink. Not enough. I'm going to have to finish this after this.
Is that also your emotional support water?
It goes everywhere with me, literally everywhere. Sometimes it gets
Excellent.
hard, it doesn't.
That is what we like to hear. I mean, getting it all in is difficult, but having it nearby is the first step in the right direction. We all know that.
Yes.
We all know that. All right. Question number 6. What is the most recent rabbit hole you've gone down?
I was researching middle of funnel content and ended up with about 20 YouTube tabs open. I discovered an entire series of content marketing chat GPT prompts, and it just went to a whole place that it didn't need to, and I got overwhelmed and closed all of the tabs without doing anything.
Sounds about right. I am a firm believer in having 2 kinds of shows to watch as a neurospicy entrepreneur. The kind of shows that you watch to help you manifest the abundance that you're inviting in, and emotional support shows. So For example, Selling Sunset is coming out with its sixth season in a few days. Super excited at the manifesting show. But my emotional support show ranges from things like Deep, Silicon Valley. I love Parks and Rec, that sort of stuff. So, what is emotional support show or your manifesting show, whichever one you want?
Okay, so my emotional support show is Schitt's Creek.
Ah, that's a good one too. Yeah.
You just can't go past it's so delightful. It just, come.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And then my last question, and this is my favorite one because I'm in the market for a new one. What is your current dopamine snack or meal?
Well, I'm on a mission to this don't hate me for this. You're gonna really find me so boring. But I'm on a mission to start enjoying salads again. So I'm like, I make salads that are, not to quote Elise Myers, that are delicious, not healthy. And
There you
so
go.
these are like there's toasted nut, there's like candied bacon, there's like little bits of things and delicious homemade dressings. I've been so bored with salads lately and I'm on a mission to re-enjoy them again.
They in traditional Chinese medicine, eating cold vegetables is not always the best. Have you ever tried a warm Caesar salad?
I have actually been putting broccoli and like steamed broccoli and steamed green veggies into my salad that I've been
Okay.
making too. Yep, because it elevates them. It just roasted peppers, it takes it to the next level. Seriously.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we totally approve of your dopamine meals, and I'm here to fully support you in all of that because we can eat healthy and we can eat for dopamine at the same time.
Yeah.
At the same time. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on, Chloe. Again, I have fangirled this entire. And everybody make sure that you go follow Chloe on all the socials, but especially on YouTube.
Thanks so much.
You're so welcome. All right. Bye, guys.